Imagine holding a coin so small it could slip through the cracks in your couch cushions. Yet it could change your life forever. The kind of coin you might have already spent on a cup of coffee years ago, without ever realizing it could have paid for the coffee shop itself. That coin exists and it's hiding in plain sight. The 1998 Lincoln penny with no mint mark, a simple 1-cent piece that, under the right circumstances, has reached staggering values up to $998,000 in today's market. And yes, that's not a typo. 1 cent, nearly $1 million. You see, coins have stories. Most people think of them as lifeless metal, but each carries the scars of its journey, the quirks of its creation, and sometimes, a rare imperfection so valuable it turns a common penny into a once-in-a-lifetime jackpot. The 1998 no-mint mark penny isn't rare because of its date alone. It's rare because of the anomalies, the subtle mistakes, and the near-perfect conditions that combine into a perfect storm of value. The trouble is, most of these treasures are vanishing from circulation every single day. People spend them without a thought. Banks roll them up. Machines chew them into oblivion. That's why spotting one now isn't just exciting. It's urgent. Think about it. Every drawer of loose change, every dusty jar in your garage, every coin you've shrugged at. What if one of them could erase your mortgage? What if, right now, a single penny in your possession was the difference between just getting by and financial freedom? It's not fantasy. It's about knowledge, timing, and a sharp eye. Collectors hunt the 1998 no-mint mark penny for several reasons. The absence of a mint mark means it was struck in Philadelphia, but certain batches had striking errors, double dies, off-center strikes, and clean, crisp details with virtually no wear. Combine that with flawless, red luster, and you've got the coin equivalent of a rare diamond. A recent auction saw one such penny soar toward the $1 million mark, leaving even veteran collectors stunned. The difference between a coin worth 1 cent and a coin worth nearly $1 million is sometimes invisible to the untrained eye, which means most people walk right past their fortune. Here's where the fear kicks in. Every year, more of these high-grade pennies are taken out of circulation forever. Each day you wait, the odds of finding one shrink. Imagine telling yourself tomorrow, I should have checked, after someone else sells the very coin you could have owned. That's the danger of hesitation, and the thrill of acting now. So how do you spot one? You don't need fancy equipment, but you do need patience. Check the date and confirm there's no mint mark under the year. Examine the details. Lincoln's hair, the clarity of the lettering, and the sharpness of the memorial building on the reverse. Any doubling in the letters or numbers, that could mean an extremely rare double die. And of course, the condition matters. Coins with minimal wear, bright surfaces, and no scratches are the crown jewels of the penny world. Here's a tip. If you find one, resist the urge to clean it. Cleaning a coin is like sanding down an antique chair. It destroys the very thing that gives it value. Still, spotting a rare coin isn't just about luck. It's about mindset. Most people don't bother looking because they assume it'll never happen to me. But what if the person who found the last record-breaking penny had thought the same way? The wealth you dream of could already be in your hands, jingling in your pocket right now, waiting for you to notice. That thought alone should keep you reaching for your change jar tonight. And here's something to remember. Collectors are willing to pay astonishing sums for perfection because perfection is fleeting. The right coin in the right hands at the right moment can become a bidding war you'll never forget. That's the kind of adrenaline rush no lottery ticket can match, because this game rewards those who pay attention, not just those who are lucky. Now, picture this. Next week, I'm going to share a secret about a coin so underappreciated, most people toss it into vending machines without a second thought. Yet it's been known to sell for over $2 million. The twist? You might already have it, but you'll only hear about it if you're here when the video drops. Don't leave the next fortune to chance. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and start checking every penny that passes through your hands. Because in this game, the only thing more expensive than missing out is never knowing what you missed. Imagine holding a coin so ordinary, so common-looking, that most people wouldn't even bother to pick it up if they saw it on the sidewalk. Now imagine that same coin being worth nearly $1 million. Sounds like a scene from a heist movie, doesn't it? But the treasure I'm talking about isn't locked in a vault. It's sitting quietly in old coffee cans, forgotten drawers, and dusty jars of change across America. And right now, the USA 1997 D-Mint Mark Lincoln penny could be your ticket to a financial windfall. Current market value? A jaw-dropping $997,000 for the rarest examples. The clock is ticking, and every day another lucky finder cashes in. Will the next story be yours? Back in 1997, the Denver Mint struck millions of pennies, and most were perfectly ordinary. But a small, almost ghost-like fraction had flaws and features so rare they became treasures. These aren't the kind of flaws that make a coin ugly. They're the kind that make it a collector's obsession. Tiny doubling in the lettering.
A misplaced mint mark.
A shimmer in the copper that makes it look almost proof-like, though it was never meant to be. The kind of microscopic difference you'd miss unless you knew what to look for. The most valuable examples combine pristine condition with a rare minting error. Picture a coin fresh from the press, untouched by hands, flawless in every curve and edge. Now add an unusual misalignment or a doubled image on Lincoln's date or face. That's the gold standard of penny hunting, except in this case, the gold comes wrapped in copper. And because these coins were struck in such limited accidental runs, each surviving specimen has the power to set bidding wars ablaze. Imagine collectors battling it out, thousands of dollars jumping with each click of an auctioneer's hammer. Why does this matter to you? Because while others are walking past their loose change, you could be walking into a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. There's fear here too. Not just the fear of missing out, but the fear that you might have already let one slip through your fingers. How many times have you dumped coins into a tip jar or Coinstar without a second glance? How many tiny fortunes have been hiding in plain sight, leaving your pocket and changing someone else's life? Here's what to look for. First, the D-Mint mark beneath the date. This shows it was made in Denver. Next, examine the coin's condition. Even the smallest scratch can slash thousands off its value. A mint state 1997 D penny with a significant die error can leap from pocket change to life-changing. Pay attention to doubling in the letters of Liberty or the date, an off-center strike, or unusually sharp details. And yes, you might need a magnifying glass, but tell me, wouldn't you check if the lottery ticket in your wallet was a winner? Now here's the exciting twist. The demand for these coins is climbing. Wealthy collectors and investors are treating rare pennies as alternative assets, a tangible piece of American history that could appreciate over time. This means values like $997,000 aren't just impressive, they're a warning sign. Once word spreads, competition gets fierce, and the odds of finding one in circulation shrink fast. You're not just looking for a penny, you're racing against a nationwide treasure hunt. Let me tell you about a man in Colorado who recently sold a 1997 D-era penny for a price that paid off his mortgage. He didn't find it in a collection or from a dealer or in some exclusive auction. He found it at the bottom of his change jar, wedged between a 2015 nickel and a bent dime. He'd been using the same jar for 10 years. If he'd decided to cash it in without looking, that coin would have vanished into the system forever. And if you're thinking, I don't have the time to check every coin, let me ask you, how much time would you make for almost $1 million? That's the moment when casual curiosity turns into focused determination. If you have jars of change at home, you already have the raw material for a potentially life-altering discovery. So, here's your call to action. Tonight, dig out every penny you can find. Tomorrow, learn the details, study the errors, and examine each coin as if it could buy you a house, because one of them just might. And if you want to know exactly how to spot the rarest, most valuable coins hiding in plain sight, this channel is your edge over the rest of the treasure hunters out there. Subscribe now because your future windfall could be sitting in the palm of your hand right now, and you'll want to know exactly what to do when you find it. The race is on, and every second you wait is a second someone else might claim the fortune that could have been yours. Picture this. You're cleaning out an old desk drawer. Dust, paper clips, maybe a couple of receipts from the 90s, and then you see it. A penny. Ordinary, dull, maybe even a little scratched. But what if I told you that this single, tiny coin, specifically a 1996 Lincoln penny with a D mint mark, could quietly be worth close to $1 million? Yes, you heard that right. A coin that cost 1 cent to make, potentially worth $996,000 today. And no, this isn't some wild internet rumor. Before you laugh it off and toss that penny back in the jar, think about this. Every year, collectors spend millions hunting for rare coins hiding in plain sight. They're not in bank vaults, they're in pockets, jars, glove compartments, and boxes in the attic. The 1996 D penny is one of those coins. Most worth face value, sure, but in rare cases, a few have something different. A minting error, a condition so pristine it's almost unreal, or a unique strike that makes collectors' hearts race and wallets open wide. Here's the part that makes people's palms sweat. Most owners have no idea. They spend them. They drop them in vending machines. They give away a small fortune for a soda. The difference between 1 cent and nearly $1 million comes down to what's on that coin and whether you know how to spot it. Now, you might be wondering, what's so special about a 1996 D penny? Let's break it down. First, the D stands for Denver, one of the U.S. Mint's production sites. While millions were made there, a select few came out with unique qualities. Double dies, striking misalignments, or extremely sharp details paired with flawless, untouched surfaces. Imagine a coin that has survived nearly 3 decades without a scratch, still gleaming like it just left the mint yesterday. That level of perfection is what drives collectors to bid jaw-dropping sums. And here's the kicker: condition is king. The grading process is where your penny's fate is decided. Coins are scored on a scale from 1 to 70. Hit a 70 in mint state perfection and suddenly you're no longer talking about pocket change, you're holding a treasure. There have been cases where a single, pristine Lincoln penny shocked the coin world by selling for hundreds of thousands, even edging toward $1 million. But don't get too comfortable yet, because here's where fear sets in. For every person who discovers their penny's worth, there are countless others who never knew. They passed it along without a second thought. What if your penny is already gone? What if you've been carrying it in your wallet for years, letting it clink around with keys and nickels, losing value with every scratch? That's why coin experts say the first rule is protect before you inspect. Now, picture this: an auction room. Quiet except for the auctioneer's chant. A small velvet tray holds one 1996 D penny. A hush falls over the crowd as the bids climb. $100, $000, $300, $000, $700, $000. The gavel drops at $996,000. That's the reality for coins that hit the perfect trifecta: rarity, demand, and condition. And the funny thing? That penny might have been sitting in someone's kitchen drawer just months before. Some might scoff, saying, "It's just a penny," but history proves them wrong again and again. Collectors have a deep hunger for the rare, the flawless, and the historic. This isn't just about metal. It's about owning a piece of American heritage, about the thrill of the hunt, about turning the smallest coin into the biggest surprise of your life. And here's something that should keep you hooked until the last word. There's no way to know if you're sitting on a fortune without looking. You could have one right now and not even realize it. What's more exciting or terrifying than that? So here's what you need to do. Check your coins carefully. Look for the D mint mark just below the year. Examine the surfaces for sharp detail and mirror-like shine. If it looks flawless, it might just be worth the cost of a house. Don't clean it ever, that can destroy its value. Instead, consider having it graded by a reputable service. People often say opportunity knocks only once. But in this case, opportunity jingles quietly in your pocket. Don't let it slip through your fingers. One small coin, one tiny detail, one moment of attention. That's all it takes to change your financial future forever. If you're serious about uncovering hidden treasures in everyday change, there's a whole world of coins out there worth far more than you'd ever expect. Subscribe now, because the next coin we reveal might be sitting in your pocket right this second. And trust me, you do not want to spend that one by accident. Imagine this. You're holding a penny in your hand, one that's been sitting in a jar on your kitchen counter for years, maybe decades. You're about to toss it into a vending machine for a stick of gum. And in that moment, you have no idea that you've just given away almost $1 million. Sounds dramatic? Good, because it's real. And today, we're talking about the USA 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, an unassuming little coin that can be worth up to $994, 000. Now, if you're thinking, a penny? Come on, that's just copper and nostalgia. Let me stop you right there. This is not about luck. This is about knowing what to look for. The kind of knowledge that turns ordinary change into extraordinary wealth. The kind of coin that could quietly be sitting in your wallet right now, waiting for the right pair of eyes to notice it. Back in 1994, the U.S. Mint produced millions of Lincoln pennies. Most of them were routine, everyday coins destined for pockets, coffee cans, and piggy banks. But a few slipped through with a very specific, very rare feature: no mint mark. And these weren't just mistakes. They became treasures. You see, most coins from the Philadelphia Mint have no mint mark, but in certain cases, due to unique die varieties and condition, they gain astronomical value. When collectors discover these flawless or near-flawless examples in pristine condition, they're willing to pay not just hundreds, not just thousands, but hundreds of thousands of dollars. And here's where things get thrilling. The 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just a maybe-worth-something someday coin. The top-grade specimens, untouched by circulation, have reached auction prices that make even seasoned collectors do a double-take. One recently fetched a jaw-dropping $994,000. That's the kind of number that makes you stop and think, what else in my life have I overlooked? But here's the scary part. The window to find one of these is shrinking every single day. Coins disappear into private collections, condition degrades, and fewer untouched examples remain in the wild. Every year you wait, your odds drop. How many rare coins have been unknowingly traded for pocket change? How many have been sitting in plain sight, under dust, in forgotten drawers? That's the real tragedy. Wealth hiding in plain sight. If you're wondering how to tell if you've struck gold, well, figuratively speaking, start with the details. Look closely at the date. Feel the sharpness of the edges. Examine the luster under good light. And most importantly, condition is king. A 1994 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in uncirculated, near-perfect condition is the golden ticket. One scratch, one ding, and the value can drop dramatically. Now, you might be thinking, all right, so I check my change, I find one, I'm rich, simple, right? Not so fast. The real skill lies in spotting the difference between a common penny and a true gem. Many will look similar at first glance, but serious collectors demand certified grading. Without proper authentication, your coin is just a story, not a payday. That's why serious sellers work with trusted coin grading services before even considering a sale. And here's a little twist. Sometimes these treasures come from the least glamorous places. Estate sales, flea markets, even that shoebox of coins your uncle swore was just spare change. I've seen fortunes made from coins bought for less than $1, and I've seen fortunes lost because someone didn't recognize what they had. Which side of that story would you rather be on? Think about it. One coin, one discovery, can change the Imagine holding a coin so small it fits between your fingertips, yet powerful enough to rewrite your financial story forever. A single penny that could be worth nearly $1 million. Not in some faraway future, but right now. The 1992 D. Lincoln penny. Most people pass it by without a second glance, tossing it in a jar, or letting it rattle in the cup holder of their car. But if you knew what to look for, you might never see loose change the same way again. The truth is, this coin hides in plain sight. It doesn't shine like gold or sparkle like diamonds. Its value lies in a mistake, a rare minting error so elusive that the number of known examples could fit on a single dinner plate. And when one appears in the open market, collectors don't just want it. They fight for it. The last recorded sale? $992,000. That's right, the kind of money that can clear debt, buy property, or even fund an early retirement. All from a coin most people think is worth a single cent now. Here's the part that keeps serious collectors awake at night. There's no telling how many of these pennies are still out there, sitting unnoticed in drawers, piggy banks, or forgotten coffee cans. They're waiting to be found, but the window of opportunity is closing. The numismatic world is waking up to their scarcity, and once they're all in private collections, their availability will vanish. Along with your chance to ever own one, you might be wondering, what makes this penny so valuable? It's all about the close AM variety. Most 1992 pennies have a wide gap between the A and M in America on the reverse side. But this rare type, struck by mistake at the Denver Mint, shows those letters almost touching. This tiny difference, barely visible to the naked eye, is the difference between pocket change and a life-changing windfall. Think about that. One slip in minting precision, and suddenly you're holding a fortune. Finding one isn't just luck. It's about knowing where to look. They can turn up in rolls of coins from banks, in inherited collections, or even in the change you get at a gas station. You have to train your eyes to spot what everyone else misses. And here's where the fear creeps in. What if you've already spent one without realizing it? What if that million-dollar penny passed through your hands years ago? That thought alone is enough to make you check every coin you own tonight. Collectors aren't the only ones hunting. Resellers, investors, and treasure seekers are combing through coins every day. The demand is climbing, and as more people join the hunt, prices will only rise. A decade from now, we might be talking about these coins in the multimillion-dollar range. But by then, it will be too late to get in without paying a king's ransom. Imagine finding one tomorrow. You take it to a reputable coin dealer. They confirm it's genuine. The auction listing goes live, and suddenly, you're watching the numbers climb, your phone buzzing with updates as bids skyrocket. Strangers from across the globe fighting for the coin in your possession. Your heart races. You start thinking about the vacations, the home upgrades, the debt-free life. That isn't a fantasy. It's exactly what has happened to the lucky few who discovered theirs. The beauty of this opportunity is that it doesn't require special connections, insider knowledge, or huge investments. Just awareness, persistence, and maybe a magnifying glass. You don't have to dig in dangerous mines or gamble on volatile markets. The treasure might already be in your home, so tonight, when you empty your pockets, don't just toss your pennies aside. Look closer. Tilt them under the light. Check that gap in America. Because the 1992 D close AM penny doesn't knock on your door twice. And the next person who finds one might be watching this video right now. If you've ever dreamed of a moment that could change your life, this is it. The only question is whether you'll act on it or let it slip away forever. Subscribe for more powerful strategies to uncover coins worth life-changing amounts of money. And don't miss the chance to turn your spare change into a fortune. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks completely ordinary. You toss it in a jar, maybe give it as change at a coffee shop, and never think about it again. But what if that same coin could pay off your mortgage, send your kids to college, and still leave enough for you to live the rest of your life without financial worry? That's the quiet, life-changing potential hiding inside one of the most overlooked coins in America. The 1988 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. It's not flashy. It's not made of gold. In fact, it's a simple 1-cent coin you've probably seen thousands of times. But here's the thing. Certain rare variations of this penny are selling for staggering amounts, with the most prized examples reaching up to $988,000 in today's market. You heard that right. Nearly $1 million for a single cent. And the people cashing in on these are often not seasoned collectors, but everyday folks who happen to check their change. The question is, could you be holding one right now without even knowing it? To understand why this penny is so valuable, you need to know the story it carries. In 1988, the United States Mint produced millions of Lincoln pennies, most marked with either a D for Denver or S for San Francisco. But a small batch from Philadelphia came out without any mint mark at all. That alone isn't rare. Philadelphia pennies often carry no mint mark. What makes this coin exceptional is the error in its design. On certain 1988 pennies, the reverse side, the Lincoln Memorial, was struck using a design intended for the following year. This transitional error is nearly invisible unless you know exactly what to look for. The spacing of the letters, the shape of the initials, tiny, almost imperceptible differences that transform a common coin into a treasure worth a fortune. Now, here's where it gets exciting. These coins didn't get pulled from circulation. They've been sitting in pockets, change drawers, and piggy banks for decades. Imagine the thrill of finding one today, heart-pounding, hands shaking, knowing you're about to join the short list of people who stumbled into life-changing wealth without buying a lottery ticket. But here's the uncomfortable truth. For every person who finds one, countless others unknowingly spend theirs, passing a fortune to a stranger for a bag of chips. And once it's gone, it's gone. The idea that you could have had nearly $1 million sitting in your hand and not even known it? That's enough to keep you up at night. If you're wondering how to spot one, it comes down to precision. The most sought-after 1988 no-mint mark penny is the wide AM reverse, where the spacing between the letters A and M in America is wider than usual, along with subtle differences in the designer's initials FG. A magnifying glass can be your best friend here. The coin should be in exceptional condition. No major scratches, minimal wear, strong luster. Professional grading services can verify authenticity, and when they slap a top-tier grade on it, that's when the value skyrockets into 6 and even 7 figures. And yes, those figures are real. Auction houses have seen these coins ignite bidding wars that push prices to the edge of $1 million. But here's the twist. You're not competing against just coin collectors anymore. With news of these sales spreading, more and more everyday people are becoming treasure hunters, combing through their change with surgical precision. Every year, the supply of these error coins in untouched condition shrinks. Time is not your friend here. Every day, another rare penny gets scratched, bent, or lost forever, dragging its value down to a fraction of what it could have been. That's why, if you have old coins lying around, the smartest move is to check them now. Not next week, not next month, now. And let's be honest, the thrill isn't just in the money. It's in the possibility. The idea that something so small, so ordinary, could hold the power to completely rewrite your financial story. How many opportunities in life come along like that? Most people will never see them, and even fewer will recognize them when they do. This penny is one of those rare chances where knowledge becomes fortune, so maybe tonight, instead of mindlessly scrolling through your phone, you grab that jar of coins from the kitchen shelf. Maybe you dump them on the table, line them up, and look closely, really closely, at each one. The truth is, your future. Imagine walking into your garage on a rainy Sunday afternoon, rummaging through an old coffee tin full of pennies, and realizing one of them could change your life forever. Not a gold coin, not some long-lost pirate treasure, just a simple copper penny from 1984. Most people would see a single cent. But if that coin happens to be the right one, with the right mark, it could be worth nearly $1 million. And right now, that's not an exaggeration. The current market value for one of these rare beauties can reach an astonishing $984,000. The question is, could one be hiding in your home? There's a reason most people miss out on these life-changing finds. They simply don't know what they're looking for. This is where opportunity slips through our fingers. In 1984, at the Denver Mint, a small number of Lincoln cents were struck with subtle but valuable differences. Most of these pennies vanished quietly into circulation, clinking around in pockets, vending machines, and cash registers for decades. The rare survivors? They've become the holy grail for collectors. Why? Because perfection in the coin world is as rare as lightning striking twice. The right combination of minting errors, condition, and provenance can transform a penny into a fortune. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, a penny worth nearly $1 million? Yeah, right. Consider this, the highest recorded sale for this exact coin shocked even the most seasoned collectors. And here's the twist. You don't need to be a coin expert to recognize the signs. The key is knowing the details. A crisp, sharp strike, no wear on Lincoln's cheek and jawline, and the tiny D mint mark just below the date. Some versions also carry minute doubling errors in Lincoln's ear, the kind you can spot with a basic magnifying glass. And yes, this tiny imperfection can mean hundreds of thousands more in value. Who knew Lincoln's ear could be worth more than a mansion? But here's the part that stirs a little fear. These coins are disappearing. Every year, collectors lock them away in private vaults, and fewer make their way back into circulation. The chances of finding one diminish over time. That means waiting isn't an option. If you've got old change jars, inherited coin collections, or even random pennies in the console of your car, now is the moment to look. The longer you wait, the more likely your $1 million penny slips into the hands of someone who recognized it before you did. And if you do find one, the process of selling it can be just as thrilling as the discovery. Auction houses fight for the right to present it, bidders battle across continents, and in the end, you might be watching zeros stack up in your bank account faster than you can process. It's a moment that turns skeptics into believers. But here's the catch: condition is king. A 1984 D penny that's been rattling around with your keys for decades might still be worth something, but a pristine, uncirculated example? That's the jackpot. This is why careful handling, soft gloves, protective cases, isn't just collector's fussiness. It's the difference between pocket change and generational wealth. Picture this. You find one, have it graded, and the appraiser's face changes as they realize what they're holding. They look up, maybe with a slight smile, and say, "You might want to sit down for this." That's the moment your world changes. This is the excitement that drives Imagine holding a penny so common in appearance you could swear it's just pocket change, yet it holds the power to change your financial destiny. A single coin, minted in 1979 with a small D mark under the date, that could be worth more than a luxury home, more than most people's lifetime savings, nearly $979,000. The real question is, how many of these have already slipped through your fingers without you even knowing? Most people think the Lincoln penny is the most ordinary coin in America. You find it under couch cushions, rattling around in your car cup holder, or stuck at the bottom of a dryer. But history has a way of hiding treasures in plain sight. The 1979 D Lincoln penny is one of those treasures, if you know what to look for. And the difference between one worth a single cent and one worth close to $1 million can come down to the tiniest, almost invisible details. This coin story begins at the Denver Mint in 1979. Over 4 billion pennies rolled off the presses that year, each bearing Abraham Lincoln's familiar profile. But here's where the magic happens. Not every coin struck was flawless. Some had rare errors, unusual die varieties, or a quality so pristine that collectors today will fight over them like they're bidding for a Picasso. Ever heard of a coin bidding war? Let's just say it's not for the faint of heart or wallet. Imagine you're sorting through an old jar of coins. You pick up a 1979 D penny, nothing remarkable. But under magnification, you notice something strange. Maybe the date looks doubled, maybe Lincoln's features are sharply defined like they were sculpted yesterday, or perhaps the surface gleams without a single scratch. At that moment, your heart skips a beat. Could this be one of the few specimens that send collectors into a frenzy? Could you be holding $979,000 in the palm of your hand? The fear of missing out here is real. These coins don't wave a flag saying, "I'm rare. Sell me for a fortune." They blend in with the billions of ordinary pennies. And while you're ignoring them, others are cashing in. Some find them at estate sales. Some pull them from bank rolls. Some even get them as change at a gas station. Every day that passes is a day someone else might discover the one you could have found. Now, what makes certain 1979 D pennies so incredibly valuable? 3 main factors: rarity of errors, perfection of condition, and the demand from serious collectors. Error varieties like doubled dies or misaligned strikes are mistakes the mint didn't catch. Tiny quirks that turn a common coin into a treasure. And condition, the highest grades, called mint state 68 or higher, are so rare they might number in single digits. Imagine finding something so perfect it looks like it never even touched human hands. That's where the bidding starts to climb into the hundreds of thousands. But here's the exciting and slightly unsettling truth. Some of these rare pennies are still out there. Not in museums, not locked in some billionaire's vault, but in change jars, old coffee cans, and forgotten boxes in attics. That means the opportunity is still alive right now. And yes, that means you could be the next person to make headlines in the numismatic world. Picture the scene. You're at your kitchen table, sifting through a pile of coins you almost took to the bank. You pull out a single 1979 D penny, set it aside, and start researching. Your palms sweat as you compare details online. Then you send it for grading, and weeks later the call comes. The grading company confirms it. Top condition, rare variety. You just went from a handful of cents to nearly $1 million. That's not just luck, that's knowledge paying off. And if you're wondering, yes, people have missed out on this exact opportunity. Stories circulate of coins sold at garage sales for face value, only to be resold for hundreds of thousands. It's enough to make you want to check every single coin you come across. Because the truth is, every penny you ignore is a chance you might be passing up your financial breakthrough. So here's the takeaway. Don't underestimate the coins in your possession. Learn the signs, get the right tools, and stay curious. The 1979 D Lincoln penny is proof that life-changing value can hide in plain sight. And the next person to discover one? Well, that could be you, if you act before someone else beats you to it. Subscribe now because in the next video, I'll reveal the exact telltale features that separate a penny worth 1 cent from one that could rewrite your financial future. You've already heard the story. Imagine holding in your hand a penny so ordinary, you'd toss it into a jar without a second thought. And yet, it could be the key to a fortune that changes your life forever. That penny might be sitting right now in your kitchen drawer, hiding in plain sight, quietly waiting for someone who knows its secret. The 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. A coin that, under the right conditions, is worth not just hundreds or thousands, but up to $978,000 in today's market. It's not magic, it's not luck, and it's certainly not a scam. It's about knowing exactly what to look for before the world catches on. Because here's the truth. Most people have already spent theirs, completely unaware they were passing along a small fortune for a stick of gum. That's the fear, not of losing a coin, but of never knowing you had it to begin with. Back in 1978, Lincoln cents were struck in huge numbers. No-mint mark meant they came from the Philadelphia Mint. To most, these coins are common pocket change, unremarkable and overlooked. But within that massive production run, a tiny number emerged with qualities so rare, they've become the stuff of numismatic legend. Flawless strikes, deep mirror-like fields, sharp details in Lincoln's hair and the wheat stalks, or errors so striking they could never be duplicated. All can transform an everyday penny into a prize worth nearly $1 million. Imagine the scene. Someone cleaning out their childhood coin collection in the attic, brushing the dust off, expecting maybe a few bucks, and then a professional grader's report confirming a gem-quality 1978 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Suddenly, that attic find isn't just a relic of the past. It's a ticket to a new house, a debt-free life, or early retirement. And the market? Right now, it's hotter than ever for pristine examples, with collectors competing for ownership like sharks circling a single drop of blood in the water. The reason is simple. Condition is everything. A coin that's been rolling around in pockets for decades might be worth only face value. But a coin in mint state, untouched, uncirculated, as if it were frozen in time, can fetch staggering sums. That's where the real excitement begins, and where the urgency kicks in. Every year, more coins get scratched, tarnished, or damaged. The pool of perfect survivors shrinks. And when something becomes scarcer by the day, its value doesn't just hold. It explodes. So how do you know if you've struck gold with copper? Start with the basics. Check for sharp, crisp details on Lincoln's portrait. Look for a bright, lustrous surface with no visible scratches or contact marks. Flip it over. The Lincoln Memorial should have clear, defined lines, and any doubling in the lettering or design could be a jackpot clue. If you suspect you have a special piece, don't clean it, don't polish it, and definitely don't spend it. Get it into the hands of a professional grading service immediately. A single number on a grading certificate can mean the difference between $100 and hundreds of thousands. Now, here's the part that most people miss. These coins don't just sell, they ignite bidding wars. Private collectors, investment funds, even museums are willing to pay top dollar for the best specimens. A verified 1978 no-mint Mark penny in the highest grades can trigger competition so fierce, prices can leap in minutes. And in a market where perception and prestige matter just as much as the metal itself, owning one isn't just about money. It's about legacy. Of course, there's the fear again. What if the next big sale happens without you? What if the coin in your house right now, sitting in a coffee can or jewelry box, is worth more than your car, your savings, maybe even your home, and you never bother to check? The window for opportunities like this is not open forever. History shows that once the top-grade examples get locked into private collections, they don't come back out for Imagine holding a single penny in your hand, just a plain old copper coin. You toss it on the counter, it rolls under the sofa, maybe it ends up in the cup holder of your car. Now imagine that very same penny is not worth 1 cent. Not $1, but nearly $1 million. Sounds impossible, right? That's exactly what makes the story of the 1977 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny so electrifying. This is the kind of coin that can turn a pocket change discovery into a life-changing windfall. And yet, Most people wouldn't even give it a second glance. There's a quiet truth every serious coin collector knows. The most valuable coins are often hiding in plain sight. The 1977 no-mint mark penny is one of them. Struck in Philadelphia with no mint mark, it looks almost identical to the billions of others made that year. But under the right conditions, perfect preservation, flawless details, and that rare blend of scarcity and demand, it transforms from a 1-cent trinket into a 6 or even 7-figure treasure. Right now, one of these has been valued at an astounding $977,000. Let that sink in. That's a suburban home, a luxury sports car, and early retirement, all in the size of a fingernail. The real magic here isn't luck, it's awareness. This coin's value comes from its combination of rarity, pristine condition, and historical significance. In 1977, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia didn't use mint marks on their pennies. Millions rolled off the presses, but over time, the sharpest, cleanest examples vanished into circulation, dinged and scratched by decades of pockets, jars, and cash registers. The handful that survived in virtually untouched condition became the unicorns of the coin world. Picture this. You're sorting through an old coffee can of coins your grandfather left behind. Your eyes glaze over at the sea of brown copper, until one coin's luster catches the light just a little differently. No fingerprints, no wear on Lincoln's cheek, sharp edges on every letter. You flip it over, no mint mark. That's when the heart starts pounding. Could it be? You hesitate because you know if you mishandle it, even one tiny scratch could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Here's where things get dangerous. In a good way. The clock is always ticking in the collectibles market. A coin like this could hit peak demand at any time. If another major discovery is made, prices could skyrocket or crash. That's why savvy collectors act with urgency. They authenticate, grade, and secure their coin before the market shifts. Sitting on it too long could mean watching a $1 million dream shrink to a fraction of its value. Of course, not every 1977 no-mint mark penny will make you rich. Many are worth just a few cents, even in decent condition. But here's the kicker. You don't need to find 10 of them. You only need one. One flawless survivor could rewrite your financial story. That's why collectors obsess over details like full red coloration, deep strike definition, and absence of contact marks. These aren't quirks. They're the difference between pocket change and generational wealth. And let's be honest, how many people in your circle even know to look? Your neighbor might have one sitting in a jar. That guy at the yard sale? He's selling his for a dime just to get rid of it. Sometimes I wonder if people realized what they were holding, would they ever spend a penny again? The real question is, what would you do if you found one? Keep it as a family heirloom? Sell it and buy your dream home? Or maybe, just maybe, use it as seed money for something bigger, an investment that turns one lucky find into a lifetime of security. This is where preparation meets opportunity. It's not about hoping to stumble across treasure. It's about knowing exactly what to do when you do. The collectors who win big don't just get lucky. They're ready. They know which coins to check, how to handle them, who to trust for grading, and when to sell. That's how you turn a chance encounter into a fortune. Somewhere, right now, a 1977 no-mint mark penny is sitting unnoticed in a dusty jar, a purse, or a drawer. Maybe it's yours. Maybe you'll find it tomorrow. Maybe someone else will. Unless you start looking now. If the idea of turning everyday coins into life-changing money excites you, stay with me because this is just the beginning. I share insider strategies, collector secrets, and real examples of coins that went from spare change to staggering profits. Subscribe now because the next coin that could change your life might already be in your pocket, and you'll want to know exactly what to do before it's too late. Imagine walking into a dusty attic, moving aside an old shoebox, and finding a small, copper coin no bigger than your thumbnail. Most people would think, just a penny. But what if I told you that this humble coin, a 1976 D Lincoln penny, could be worth up to $976,000? That's not a typo. One coin, nearly $1 million. The kind of money that changes your life, pays off your home, wipes away debt, and opens doors to a future you've only dreamed about. And here's the kicker, you might already have it sitting in a jar, Right now, there's a reason collectors and investors are scrambling for these rare coins. It's not luck, it's knowledge. In 1976, the U.S. Mint was in the middle of America's bicentennial celebrations, producing special coins and working under intense pressure to meet demand. But that pressure led to mistakes. Some of those errors, paired with perfect preservation and the right conditions, created a handful of Lincoln pennies unlike any others. Coins with tiny, almost invisible differences that make them worth a fortune today. And while most people are spending them on gum or dropping them in parking lots, the smart ones are hunting them down, cashing in and smiling all the way to the bank. But here's where it gets exciting and a little nerve-wracking. The coins that bring in the highest prices aren't just any 1976 D pennies. We're talking about coins struck in pristine condition, often never touched by human hands after leaving the mint. Mint state coins graded at the very top levels, sometimes paired with rare minting errors, are the ones that hit 6 or 7 figures. One of these beauties sold for $976,000 in a private auction not long ago. Imagine the phone call that person made to their family after that sale. Now, before you start emptying every penny jar in the house, let's talk about the signs you need to look for. First, the D mint mark, standing for Denver, just below the date. Next, examine the coin for its condition. Is the detail sharp? Can you see the crisp lines in Lincoln's hair, the clear edges on the lettering, the smooth fields without scratches? Under magnification, you might also catch something even rarer, an off-center strike, a double die in the lettering, or even a planchet error. These details can be microscopic, but they turn an ordinary cent into a jackpot. And here's the part that keeps collectors awake at night. You'll never know how many are still out there. Could be hundreds, or just a handful. Every year, as coins wear down, get damaged, or disappear into piggy banks forever, the surviving population shrinks. That scarcity is what fuels the value. The fewer there are, the more collectors will fight over them, driving prices into the stratosphere. And with the market for rare coins hotter than ever, missing your chance now could mean missing it forever. You might be wondering, how on earth does a penny end up selling for more than a luxury sports car? It's a perfect storm of rarity, demand, and condition. Think about it. The people bidding on these coins aren't just hobbyists. They're investors, high-net-worth individuals, and even museums. They understand that a coin like this isn't just a piece of metal. It's a time capsule, a tangible slice of American history, and an asset that grows in value over time. And the best part? You don't need a metal detector or a bank vault to start. All you need is the knowledge to recognize a treasure when it's sitting right in front of you. I can't tell you how many stories I've heard of someone cashing in life-changing amounts from coins they found in old collections, change drawers, or even from a random store transaction. One man in Colorado sold a penny for hundreds of thousands, and he had been using it as a lucky coin for years, never knowing it was literally a winning lottery ticket in his pocket. The only thing separating him from that payday sooner was awareness. So here's my challenge to you. Don't just watch this and move on. Tonight, after this video, grab that coffee can, open that coin jar and start looking. Use a magnifying glass. Check the date. Check the mint mark. Look for those crisp, uncirculated surfaces and any signs of error. You might think, what are the odds? But here's a better question. What if you don't check and you've been sitting on $1 million coin this whole time? And when you do find something, because someone watching this will, remember this moment. Remember that knowledge is the difference between spending a penny and holding a fortune in your hand. Coins like the 1976 D Lincoln penny are out there, hiding in plain sight. The next one to surface could be yours. Before you rush off to start your search, make sure you're armed with every tip, trick, and insider secret that could turn pocket change into generational wealth. Subscribe now, because the next coin I show you might make this one look like pocket money, and you won't want to miss that. Imagine opening your grandfather's old cigar box and finding a single penny inside. 1 cent, scratched, faded, almost invisible under years of dust. You hold it in your palm, thinking it's worthless. But what if that little coin wasn't just change? What if it was a ticket to nearly $1 million? And you didn't even know it. Right now, there are people walking around with that exact coin in their pockets, tossing it into tip jars, losing it between couch cushions, while collectors would fight over it for up to $973,000. And yes, this isn't a fairy tale, this is real. The coin in question? The 1973 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. At first glance, it looks like any other penny you've seen 1,000 times. But here's the catch, its rarity doesn't scream at you. It whispers. And only those who know what to listen for ever hear it. In a market where rare coins are traded like fine art, a simple misprint, a metal composition change, or even a subtle imperfection can turn pocket change into a once-in-a-lifetime payday. Now, if you're thinking, a penny? Really? I get it. But remember, gold is just a shiny rock until someone decides it's valuable. In the coin world, history, scarcity, and demand turn copper into treasure. The 1973 no-mint mark penny is a perfect storm of all three. It's from an era when minting technology wasn't as perfect as it is now, and errors, especially in the absence of a mint mark, slipped through quietly. Most of them have been lost to time, but the ones that remain, they've become legends in the numismatic world. Imagine the fear of selling it for a few bucks at a yard sale, only to later see it listed at an auction for hundreds of thousands. That happens more often than you'd think. Stories circulate of retirees cashing in jars of pennies at the bank, unknowingly giving away the most valuable coin they'll ever own. That's the danger. Ignorance is expensive. The most desirable examples aren't just any 1973 penny. They're pristine, mint state, untouched, the kind of condition that makes a collector's pulse race. The difference between a worn version and a perfect one can be the difference between 20 cents and nearly $1 million. And here's the twist. Many of these coins are hiding in plain sight. You might have one in a forgotten desk drawer, an old coffee can, or inside a box of keepsakes from decades past. This is where things get exciting. If you find one, you're not just holding copper, you're holding a slice of history. The value isn't just in the metal or the year, it's in the story. The coin carries the legacy of its era, the imperfections of human craftsmanship, and the thrill of rarity. Collectors don't just buy coins. They buy the story they tell and the exclusivity of owning one of the few that still exist. But here's the urgency this market moves. Coins come to auction, records are broken, and then the best examples disappear into private collections for decades. If you sit on the sidelines too long, the chance to capitalize on this wave could vanish. Remember, once it's locked away in someone else's vault, you're not getting it back. Now, here's the question that should keep you up tonight. Have you already touched one of these coins and let it slip away? That thought alone should send you running to your change jar. Because every year, the number of surviving examples drops, where damage and circulation take their toll. The odds get slimmer, but the payout gets higher. Picture this, your friends ask how you suddenly bought that new home, that luxury car, or took that dream vacation. You smile and say, "It started with a penny." That's not just wealth, that's the kind of story that cements a legacy. And right now, you're either the person who finds it, or the one who hears about someone else cashing in. Picture this. You're rummaging through an old jar of coins, maybe in the back of a dusty cabinet or in a forgotten shoebox in the attic. You're looking for quarters for laundry or maybe something to toss into a parking meter. But in your hand, you pull out a 1968 Lincoln penny with an S mint mark. At first glance, it's just a cent worth, well, a cent. But what if I told you that this tiny, unassuming coin could be worth as much as $968,000? Would you still toss it back in the jar? Or would your hands start shaking just a little? The truth is, the 1968 Lincoln penny is one of those coins that hides its value in plain sight. It was minted in San Francisco during a time when the country was shifting in so many ways: culture, economy, even the way our coins were being made. For most people, a penny is a penny. But for collectors and serious investors, certain 1968 pennies are like treasure maps stamped in copper. A rare combination of minting precision, historical context, and pristine preservation has transformed these coins into 6- and even 7-figure prizes. Now here's the twist that makes this coin so fascinating. There were millions of 1968 pennies produced, but only a microscopic fraction meet the elite conditions that push their value into life-changing territory. We're talking about coins that have never been touched by circulation. Coins so perfectly struck they look like they were minted yesterday. Some are proof coins, special editions made with mirror-like finishes for collectors, where even the faintest imperfection can slash the value in half. But when you find one with flawless surfaces, deep cameo contrast, and the sharpest of details, you're no longer holding 1 cent. You're holding a ticket to the kind of payday most people only dream about. Think about that for a second. How many times have you let pennies slip through your fingers without a thought? How many could have been one of these? That's the fear that creeps in for every coin collector. The idea that the jackpot might have been right there in your palm and you didn't even notice. And that fear, it's also what drives the excitement. Because every time you check another coin, you might be seconds away from discovering the one. The market for rare coins has never been more competitive. Wealthy buyers, seasoned collectors, and investment groups are snapping up top-grade 1968 Lincoln pennies because they know scarcity drives value. And as the years pass, finding a high-grade specimen only gets harder. Copper tarnishes, surfaces get nicked, and coins lose that pristine perfection collectors demand. Which means the few that remain untouched, they're like diamonds that just keep getting rarer. That's why a single 1968 penny in the right condition has reached market values close to $968,000. Yes, for a coin you could cover with your thumb. But before you rush to cash in, there's the challenge: spotting the right one. You need to know the key details: how the mint mark should look, where microdoubling might appear, the exact hue of the copper that signals original luster. It's a hunt that demands patience, precision, and yes, a little bit of obsession. And here's where urgency comes into play. Once these coins are in private collections, they may never hit the market again. Miss your window, and you might be waiting years for another chance. This is where strategy turns the casual coin searcher into a true treasure hunter. If you have a collection sitting untouched, now is the time to look. Even if you've glanced at those pennies before, take another look with fresh eyes. Use magnification. Study reference images. Because the smallest details, a perfectly clean rim, the crispness of Lincoln's hair, the depth of the mint mark, can mean the difference between face value and financial freedom. And yes, you might feel a little ridiculous holding a magnifying glass to a penny at your kitchen table. But when the stakes are this high, ridiculous is just another word for thorough. Imagine the moment you realize you've found one. Your heart skips. Your breath catches. You know your life might change with this single discovery. You get it graded, authenticated, and suddenly you're holding a 6- or 7-figure check. That's tuition paid, a mortgage gone, a business launched. All from something so small you could lose it between the couch cushions. Of course, not everyone will find the $1 million penny. But here's the thing: someone will. And the people who find them aren't always expert numismatists. Sometimes they're just ordinary folks who decided to look a little closer. The opportunity is out there, but it won't be forever. The clock is ticking, the supply is shrinking, and every day another rare penny disappears into a private collection, never to be seen again. So here's your choice. You can keep treating pennies like pocket change, or you can see them for what they really are: potential keys to a completely different future. If you want that future, start today. Check every coin. Learn what to look for. Keep your eyes open and your curiosity sharper than the minting dies that made these treasures. Because somewhere out there, maybe even in your own home, is a 1968 Lincoln penny with your name on it. And when you find it, remember this moment. And remember who told you it was possible. Now, go check your coins. And if you want more insider strategies to spot the next $1 million treasure hiding in plain sight, subscribe now. Imagine reaching into your change jar and pulling out a coin so valuable. It could wipe out your mortgage, fund your dream home, and still leave enough for a first-class trip around the world.
Sounds impossible?
Then you haven't heard the story of the 1967 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. A tiny piece of copper that, in the right condition, can fetch up to $967,000 in today's market. Yes, nearly $1 million for a single cent. And here's the best part. There's a chance you already own one. Now, before you rush to the couch cushions or crack open the family coin jar, you need to know why this penny is special. 1967 was a year unlike any other in U.S. coin history. To fight a national coin shortage, the U.S. Mint suspended mint marks entirely. That means no D for Denver, no S for San Francisco, Just the plain, unmarked face of Abraham Lincoln staring back at you. At first glance, it might seem ordinary, but like a treasure map drawn in invisible ink, the real clues are in its details. Details so subtle they're often missed by casual eyes. And those details are exactly what separate a penny worth 1 cent from one worth more than most houses. The most valuable examples are not just clean, they're perfect. Coins graded mint state 67 or higher are almost flawless, showing no signs of wear, scratches, or smudges. Think of it like buying a classic car in pristine showroom condition. It's rare, it's desirable, and collectors are willing to pay staggering amounts to own it. But rarity alone doesn't explain the fevered demand. Some of these pennies were struck with remarkable sharpness, deep luster, and eye-catching coloration. Small artistic accidents that turned a common coin into an irreplaceable artifact. Of course, finding one isn't as simple as looking for a penny without a mint mark. You're competing against millions of other eyes, some trained for decades. But here's the urgency. As the years pass, these coins are disappearing into private collections, where they're locked away for decades. Every day you wait, your chances shrink. How many might still be out there? No one knows for certain. But what is certain is that the most pristine examples can command prices that sound like lottery winnings, because for the lucky finder, they might as well be. Picture this. A man in Ohio sells a 1967 penny he inherited from his father's coin collection. It's been sitting untouched in a small paper envelope for decades. When it goes to auction, the bidding war explodes. In minutes, the price leaps from hundreds to tens of thousands, then past $500,000, finally landing just shy of $1 million. The seller walks away stunned. What changed his life? A single cent, kept safe and unnoticed for years. Now, imagine if you're holding the same thing right now without even realizing it. Before you dismiss the thought, take this as your call to action. Inspect your coins, especially those from the 1960s. Look for that missing mint mark, the untouched surface, the perfect strike. Don't clean them, don't scratch them, don't even breathe on them if you think they're special. Store them in protective holders and have them graded by a reputable service. The difference between a penny worth 50 cents and one worth nearly $1 million is often measured in microscopic details only a professional can confirm. And here's something most people don't realize. The thrill isn't just in selling, it's in the hunt. Coin collecting can start as a simple hobby and become a gateway to life-changing discoveries. Every time you handle a penny, you're holding a piece of American history. And once in a while, history repays you in ways you could never predict. So ask yourself, if opportunity is knocking right now, will you hear it? Or will you let it pass, only to read about someone else's $1 million find next month? Somewhere out there, in a drawer, a jar, or a dusty old coin album, another 1967 Lincoln penny is waiting for the right set of eyes. Maybe yours. If you're ready to learn more about spotting treasures in everyday change, subscribe now, because every video could be the one that turns your spare change into a small fortune. And remember, 1 cent can change everything. It starts with a single coin. 1 cent. The kind most people wouldn't even bend down to pick up if it rolled across the floor. But what if I told you that this humble, copper-colored disc in your pocket could open the door to a life you've only dreamed about? That one single penny, specifically the 1961 Lincoln penny with a tiny D mark just beneath the date, could be the key to nearly $1 million. And here's the crazy part. Most people have no idea it exists. The 1961 D Lincoln penny looks ordinary. You've probably seen one tossed in a tip jar or rattling around in the bottom of an old desk drawer. Yet, in the right condition, under the right circumstances, this 1 cent coin has sold for up to $961,000 in today's market. That's not a typo. That's life-changing wealth, hidden in plain sight. Imagine finding it today, right now, without telling anyone. Would you sell it immediately, or would you keep it as your secret ticket to freedom? Back in 1961, the Denver Mint struck over 1.7 billion Lincoln pennies. They were meant to be common, plentiful, forgettable. And yet, a handful of these coins came out different, minting anomalies so rare, they became unicorns in the world of coin collectors. Sometimes it's a double die error, sometimes an off-center strike, sometimes a pristine, untouched condition that's almost impossible to believe survived 6 decades without a single scratch. These rare combinations make collectors' hearts race and open their wallets faster than you can say, pocket change. But here's where the story gets thrilling. These high-value 1961 pennies aren't sitting in museums or behind bulletproof glass. They're out there, right now, hidden in coffee cans, tucked in family coin jars, forgotten in dusty attics. Some even pass through everyday transactions unnoticed. If you knew what to look for, you could be holding a fortune the next time you count out change at the grocery store. Think about it. The average person walks by opportunity every single day, completely blind to it. We scroll on our phones, we rush through errands, we never look closely. What if the universe handed you a $961,000 coin, and you let it slip through your fingers because you didn't take 3 seconds to check? That's the kind of regret that could haunt you forever. Spotting a high-value 1961 penny isn't about luck. It's about knowledge. The mint mark D tells you it came from Denver. The color should be a rich, lustrous red, not faded brown. The details on Lincoln's hair, the crisp edges of the lettering, the sharpness of the date. All these are clues. And if you stumble upon one with a doubling in the letters Liberty, or In God We Trust, or a perfectly preserved, uncirculated shine, you might just be staring at the coin that changes your life. Now, I know what you're thinking. Surely these coins are already gone, snapped up by experts decades ago. But here's the twist. They keep surfacing. People cleaning out their parents' belongings. Yard sale finds. A jar of change from a relative who never trusted banks. Every year, stories emerge of ordinary folks. People like you, discovering rare pennies worth staggering sums. Some walk away with enough money to retire early. Others pay off their homes, travel the world, or fund their kids' education. And yet, time is running out. As more of these coins are found, the chances of stumbling upon one shrink. The market rewards rarity, and when supply dries up, values can skyrocket. But that also means waiting too long could mean missing your moment forever. Here's the thing. Wealth often hides in the simplest places. It doesn't always come from big business deals or lottery tickets. Sometimes it jingles quietly in your pocket, waiting for someone with sharp eyes and the right knowledge to notice. That's why I'm telling you this now, because the 1961 penny might not just be a coin. It could be your golden ticket. So tonight, dig through that old coin jar. Search the boxes in your attic. Look closely at every penny you touch from this moment forward. And when you find one that matches these clues, remember this moment, because it could be the moment your story changes forever. If you want to learn the exact spotting techniques, the hidden minting flaws, and the insider strategies that collectors use to uncover these treasures, make sure you don't miss the next video. Every day you wait could be the day someone else finds the fortune meant for you. Subscribe now, stay alert, and keep hunting, because the next rare penny might just have your name on it. Imagine holding a penny so rare, so historically significant, that it could change your financial life forever. Now imagine that penny sitting unnoticed in a dusty jar on your kitchen counter, or tucked away in a box you haven't opened in decades. This isn't just a collector's fantasy. It's the real story of the 1952 mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin so rare in pristine condition that its current market value can soar to $952,000. And yes, there are still some out there waiting to be found. For many, the idea that a 1-cent coin could be worth more than a luxury home feels impossible. But here's the truth. Most people walk past fortune every single day because they don't know what they're looking for. The 1952 penny is one of those quiet treasures, hiding in plain sight, underestimated because it's small, brown, and, well, just a penny. But if you understand its history, its scarcity, and the tiny details that make it special, you'll realize it's not just pocket change. It's a time capsule from America's post-war era that collectors are willing to pay a fortune to own. Back in 1952, San Francisco's mint produced this penny during a period of transition in U.S. coinage. World War II was over, the economy was booming, and coins were being struck with high copper content, 95% to be exact. While millions were minted, time has a way of making survivors scarce. Most were lost, damaged, or worn down by circulation. What makes a few surviving examples so valuable today is not just their age, but their condition. Coins graded at the very highest level, perfect or near-perfect mint state, are virtually museum pieces. Think of them as the Ferraris of the penny world. But here's where things get exciting. You don't need to be a seasoned coin dealer to spot one. Look for that small S mint mark just beneath the date on the obverse side, and check for sharp, crisp details. Lincoln's hair, the wheat stalks on the reverse, and a glossy, almost mirror-like surface. The fewer scratches, the better. If yours still looks fresh from the mint, you might not just have a valuable coin. You could have a life-changing asset. Now, I know what you might be thinking. All right, but what's the catch? Well, here's the urgency. Every day that passes, more of these coins disappear into private collections, never to re-enter the market. That means the remaining supply gets tighter, and when scarcity meets demand, prices only go one way. Just last year, one immaculate specimen shocked the auction world, selling for close to the $952,000 mark. Imagine the ripple effect if another hit the market tomorrow. And here's the part that makes people's hearts race. Most of the great coin finds don't come from dealers or vaults. They come from everyday people, cleaning out a drawer, emptying a piggy bank, or inheriting a jar of coins from a relative. The difference between you and the person who lets it slip away for $1 is simply knowledge. Once you know what you're looking for, you'll never look at change the same way again. But let's not forget, coin collecting isn't just about the money. There's a deep satisfaction in holding a piece of history, imagining the hands it's passed through, the stories it could tell. The 1952 penny isn't just valuable. It's a symbol of a bygone era when craftsmanship in even the smallest coins mattered. And yes, it just so happens to be a ticket to financial freedom if you're lucky enough to find the right one. So what happens if you suspect you have one? Don't toss it in with the rest of your change. Protect it immediately, handle it by the edges, place it in a protective holder, and get it evaluated by a reputable coin grading service. The difference between a $5 penny and a $952,000 penny can come down to microscopic details, and only a professional can give you that verdict. Time is not your friend here. Every moment you wait, the market changes. Someone else could be finding their 1952 penny right now, preparing to cash in. You could be next, or you could miss your shot entirely. The choice is yours. Before you rush off to dig through your coins, remember this: great opportunities often come disguised as ordinary things. In this case, they come disguised as a small copper coin you might have dismissed 100 times before. Don't make that mistake again. If you're ready to uncover more hidden treasures like this, coins that could turn pocket change into a payday, make sure you stay connected right here. Subscribe now, because in the world of rare coins, the difference between watching someone else's success and living your own is knowing the secrets before everyone else does. And trust me, you don't want to be the one who finds out too late.